You need a job and nothing is working. If I was in your shoes, these are the 6 jobs that I would target. They're not sexy, not a lot of people are going to talk about them on social media, but there are lots of vacancies available and it is something that you need little or no experience for. Let's get you hired. Number 1, sales. Every business needs sales, but yet for some reason, sales is still a bit of a dirty word when you talk to most people. The fact of the matter is sales jobs are always going to be available because they're hard, there is a high rate of attrition, and there are always people that are needing to be replaced. And there are always new businesses, new products, new services, which need people to sell those things. I have done door-to-door sales, telesales, digital sales, email marketing sales. And in fact, a big part of the reason why Job Ready English started and how my businesses had some element of success is because of the experience that I've had in sales. I first started with telesales. I used to sell appointments for double glazing, and I was so nervous when I started. You would sit in front of a telephone, and as soon as you picked the phone up, it would auto dial. And then probably somebody either wouldn't pick up the phone, would pick up the phone and then would put the phone down on you, or would be a little bit rude. And every so often, somebody would say, yes, actually, they're interested in double glazing, and then you'd be able to book an appointment with them. Now, what happened was that when I first started, I struggled with saying things, reading from a script, keeping the momentum, keeping up my levels of energy. But there's a little trick that I want to share with you about sales, which has helped me get through many, many different things and was shared to me by a mentor of mine who started off working in sales when he was 40. And what he used to do was he would sell conference bookings for sales training. And it was really difficult. He was doing it back in the 80s, and sales was about as popular then as it is now. And what he realized was that he only had to phone 37 people to get an appointment to then go and see them. And out of every 3 appointments, someone will book. Now, he only needed 2 bookings a month in order to pay the bills. So actually, when he thought about it, all he needed to do was make 202 calls in a month, which is probably that he could probably do in a week. And actually, in some telesales roles, we would make 200 to 300 calls in a day in order to be able to pay the bills. And when he thought about it like that, sales became a lot easier. Now, the reason why I like sales is because I guarantee you right now, near to you, there are sales jobs. There will be telesales jobs, there will be jobs door to door, there will be jobs online, there will be commission only jobs, there will be jobs which are for a low starting salary, there will be recruitment consultant jobs. There are loads of jobs which are related to sales. Now remember, the name of the game is to be able to put food on the table and to pay the bills. Sales is also, for me, a super skill. If you can sell, and you can sell yourself, you can sell products and services, this is a super skill that you will take on into future jobs. And it will create a tremendous amount of resilience and discipline, because there's nothing quite like 100, 1,000, 10,000 people saying no to you to really thicken the skin and realize that self-esteem really is an inner job. Number 2, fast food. Now, it only seemed like a couple of years ago when a post on Reddit went viral for a McDonald's in Florida, which was offering a free iPhone for anybody who came and worked at their restaurant and stayed for 6 months. Now, that isn't the case anymore. In fact, I'm pretty sure many of you watching this video will have applied to work at McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, Greggs, and probably been rejected. The truth is, if I walked into a McDonald's today, I don't think I could get a job. There was a time when McDonald's was actually not that attractive, but these days, because there are so many people who want to get a job, it's really difficult to get a job in fast food. Now, this is an area for me, especially that you want to think outside the box. Think about applying for places that are outside of the city centre, for hours that are irregular. A type that I really like are 24-hour drive-thrus. If you can go and get to a McDonald's 24-hour drive-thru, I think it's reasonably likely that you're going to be able to get a job. If only because, particularly if you're young, you can work the graveyard shift or work late night shifts. Number 3, supermarkets. Now, supermarkets like Tesco, Aldi, Lidl, Sainsbury's and Asda, are some of the biggest employers here within the UK. Now, having said that, they're also jobs which are highly in demand. Getting a job in a supermarket can be much the same as getting a job at a fast food restaurant. It's much harder than it looks. Again, a way that I would think outside the box is doing shelf stacking overnight, working in the bakery, and also looking for local shops and also petrol garages. I would also make sure to look at the job advertisements directly on the company's website rather than looking at these jobs for Indeed or LinkedIn. And it's always a good idea to just pop your head in, ask the question, and to see what people say, and just have a conversation with someone and see if they're in need of staff. Number 4, targeting small trades and small construction businesses. Now, I will admit that this is a strategy which is more aimed at men rather than women because we're talking about physical labor. If you think that I'm being sexist, that's absolutely fine. Anybody can go and do this job. It's just, in my experience, more likely to go to a man rather than woman. Now, if I was a rather canny young man, and I have done this before, but this was before there was Trust a Trader, I would find all of the top rated trades and building companies through Trust a Trader. Say the top 20. I would then call them directly and ask them if they had any labouring work. Now, construction and trade companies always have need for labour. Basically, people to do the work that no one else wants to do because it's really hard, it's really heavy, and it's really tiring. And as you get older, things hurt and you just don't want to do it. So if you can pay somebody else to do it, then it's great. Now, the only thing that you might need is a CSCS card, but I guarantee you, no one else is doing this. No one else is trying to reach out to trades and construction companies directly and ask them if they need a labourer. I know this because on the flip side, I have a lot of my friends who work in the trades, who have construction companies, who are desperate for labourers, who are desperate for people to come and work for them. And I'm sure that there's going to be some young people watching this going, well, they don't advertise for apprenticeships. And the reason is that you need people who are going to turn up and work hard for their money. Now, just because you say that you can work is a difference to you actually being able to turn up, do the work, carry things, do difficult stuff, and make everybody's life easier. What nobody wants is somebody turns up, is late, is lazy, and doesn't do the job, and therefore makes everybody's life harder. Number 5, deliveries. Now, I realize that this is a category of job who is limited to people who either can drive, have a moped, or have a bicycle. Now, I think this is accessible to most people, but not to all people. But that's the reason why I presented you with 6 choices and not 1. And in fact, stick around when I'm going to give you a choice that is pretty much a lock stock for getting a job. Now, food deliveries are not what they used to be. They're in fact incredibly bloated. I know this because we have a food business, and what I tend to find is that generally those drivers which are based in the Medway area say that there's just not enough work to go around, apart from the odd nighttime shift. However, applying for these jobs, if you're able to drive, is a great thing to do because it's something that you could switch off and on. I also do include in that if you did have a car or you were able to access a motor vehicle, then you could drive for Uber, or you could just switch this on and off whenever you had the opportunity. It's definitely something that I would do. I'd need a nicer car because my car's not that nice. What I like with delivery driving is that just having the ability to switch stuff off and on. I have people who've worked with me who will go out at 11 p.m. and work until 3 a.m. or they might do nothing for a week, but they can switch it on and off. So having those applications going is a good thing. Food deliveries are something that you can do whether you have a car, a moped, or a bike. It's not something that you can do if you don't have any of those. The other categories also include delivering people, i.e. driving Uber, and also delivering parcels. Ever since Amazon came out of Amazon Prime, delivery driving is more and more popular. There are companies advertising everywhere for people to deliver parcels. And this is actually something that you can do with your car. It's not particularly lucrative to begin with because you have to learn the route so you can conserve petrol, know where to park, know where to go and when to go to those places. As you get more and more used to it, it's definitely something which can put food on the table and pay the bills. It's also a job that, to be honest with you, you can drive for as long as you want to drive because there's always more parcels that need to be delivered. Number 6, cleaning. Now this is a job which again is probably more slanted towards women rather than men. I think also generally when it comes to domestic as opposed to commercial cleaning, people are much more likely to like and trust a woman rather than a man. I think that's just a sort of predisposition, maybe based upon the relationship that we have with our mothers, who knows. It'd be interesting if anybody knew the answer to that and could drop me a comment down below. I like cleaning because number one, it is a really quick way to become self-fulfilling, almost to build your own small business. Also a great business if you want to get some cash in hand work and of course pay your taxes. It has a very low startup cost. So if I was trying to start a cleaning business in my local area, and in fact I have done this with gardening, something you can do with gardening as well. Basically, I would get together the basic tools that you need. So I'd get together like a little cleaning kit. Even with hoovers, probably almost everybody has a hoover. As time went on, then maybe you could invest in, a really nice handheld hoover if you weren't driving, that you could lug about because you don't want anything that's quite heavy, nothing like a Henry Hoover. Then what I would do is print off a very simple flyer, use something like Canva, just put some pictures of clean stuff, list out the services that you would do and deliver them in all the houses within a half-a-mile radius of where you live. The reason why you want to do that to begin with is because I'm assuming that you don't drive. If you did drive, then you wanted to target more affluent areas. And essentially, I would pretty much guarantee that you'll get at least one call. Now, really importantly, you'll probably also need to have insurance, but that isn't particularly expensive. The leaflets will probably cost you about £40. The insurance probably costs you about £25, something like that. But then you're ready to go. Now, with leaflets, generally you get one result out of every 100 leaflets. So it's about 1%. So if you gave out 1,000 leaflets, depending on the area, I would expect you within the first couple of weeks to get 5 to 10 calls. What you then do is you go to the home and you do an amazing job. Now, the really good thing about cleaning that it has above and beyond some of these other businesses is that it's a really good way for you to build your own client base, for you to build monthly recurring revenue. Because generally, if you do a good job in somebody's house, then they're going to want you to come back. So all you need to remember is when you go there and when you clean, it's just a really, really good job. Make sure everything's clean, everything smells nice. In the beginning, this may mean that you're working for not very much, because you might say, right, I will work for £12 an hour. I think I'm going to be here for 2 hours. That'll be £24. And actually you're there for 3 hours. You're like, oh my God, I work for £8 an hour. But the point is that you're trying to learn a skill. Don't think about the money in terms of being paid once. Think about the money in terms of that person paying you £24 every week or every fortnight or every month. All of a sudden, putting in a little bit of extra work here, there, and whatever makes sense. Now, this leads me on to another really important point for all of these things and what I believe that cleaning provides, and so does all of these other jobs. And all of these jobs, importantly, and I'm sure that there are people who are watching this video going, well, these jobs are rubbish or blah, blah, blah. I would do any of those jobs. And in fact, I've done many of these jobs. Let me be categorically clear. If your ego is so great that you will not just get on your hands and knees and clean or go out and deliver things, then good for you. But it's probably an attitude that isn't going to pay off. What you will get if you start to do these jobs is A, you'll get real world experience. B, you'll get connections. And C, you'll have a life. And D, you'll get some self-esteem, dude. I don't care who you are, but if you're watching this and you don't work and you get a job doing whatever, the boost of your self-esteem is massive. You get home on that first day and you think, I feel like an adult. I've been out, I got up at a reasonable hour, I went out and I did some work and I've come home and now I deserve to do the things that I would normally do all day because I've got nothing else to do. Now, finally, I want to touch on a job that I think is an absolute shoo-in if you were desperate to get a job, and that is being a healthcare assistant. Now, healthcare is one of those things that will continue to rise over the next decades. There is nothing that is going to stop that because more people are getting older, more people are living longer, and more people are going to need some form of healthcare. I could probably throw a rock and hit a healthcare company who are looking for people to come and be healthcare assistants. And in fact, you don't even need to drive. There are reasonable rates of pay. there are always shifts that are available, and there are always people who need care and assistance, and you can work through that to get MVQs, to go into management, maybe even to start your own HCA company. I think a lot of people are reticent about it because they think about caring for people and cleaning up poop and all that other kind of stuff. Again, it's a job that I've been and interviewed for in my 20s, and something that I was willing to do because I wanted to be able to put food on the table and pay the bills. I wanted to be a man. I didn't want to be a boy who didn't have a job, who said, I'm a little bit too good for any of those things. Guys, I hope this video has helped you. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you'd like more videos like this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.